If you go visit the darkness that you've been running from, you'll have the opportunity to leave a better person.
No pain lasts always. I don't care what it is. It has a deadline to it. So what you should learn is, what are you supposed to learn while going through that pain? Just come out of this. What about you would be different? Like, what did you do with this pain? And that's the question that everybody should ask themselves, no matter what pain you're going through.
In a world full of noise and chaos, one force stands silent, yet unshakable. Discipline, the quiet predator of greatness. Discipline hunts the edge where growth begins, and in the end it is not talent that triumphs, but the relentless.
What have I done right today? What have I done right that's moved me toward my goals? And second question is, what would I do differently if I had today to do over again?
So discipline in that sense is not just a one-way street. It's about what you want, this is what you do, and what you know is not good for you, you leave it.
If you only did what you were supposed to do when you were motivated to do it, that's leaving it to chance. But if you're disciplined, you go do what you're supposed to do. That's the way it works.
You still got work to do. Stay on that basketball court. Stay on that football field. All the homies texting and calling and trying to make you feel bad about being so focused.
I have these dreams, I have these goals, I have this passion in me that's burning, this gnawing of greatness, like I know I'm meant for more.
But sometimes the only way through it is through it. And what he meant was, the only way down is down. And it's gonna stink sometimes, but we have to be courageous.
You have to quiet all of the phones and social media and all the negativity of the world to get to even hear your own self have a self-talk. You can't have self-talk if you're hearing someone else's dialogue and what they're putting out on social media, how they want you to act, how they want you to dress, how they want you to talk. Everything out there is you're trying to keep up with somebody. You're not trying to find your own self. So you have to clear away all the crap. And how you clear away the crap to even get to your self-talk is you have to get all of the noise of all the crap of the world out of your head. So I call it going to a dark place. You have to get the noise out, quiet your mind down, get all the static out before you can even have a real conversation with yourself.
Every morning when you get up, say over and over to yourself, do it now, do it now, do it now. I do it now, do it now. Whenever you have this tendency to procrastinate, program your subconscious mind with this automatic conditioned command, do it now, do it now, do it now. The key to overcoming procrastination is to develop a sense of urgency. Be the kind of person who gets things done quickly. Be the kind of person who launches fast on a task. Say over and over to yourself, do it now, do it now, do it now. Do you know that less than 2% of the population have a sense of urgency? And that there is not an example of a successful person anywhere who does not have a sense of urgency? That if you just develop a sense of urgency when somebody gives you a task, that you get on it and do it fast, that alone will move you into the top ranks in a very short period of time.
Listen to yourself. Return to you. You didn't come here to repeat patterns. You came to break them, to change the rules. You are the one who creates paths where there was only shadow. Because you don't just live in this universe. You are the one who reshapes it. You are the creator, the origin, the beginning of everything you dare to imagine.
You don't become confident by shouting affirmations in the mirror, but by having a stack of undeniable proof that you are who you say you are. Outwork your self-doubt.
A lot of people sit back and they dream about being a sports figure, or dream about being a SEAL, or dream about being an astronaut. And all it is a motherfucking dream. They don't put the work behind the dream. That dream has become their master. When you become the master of your dream, the dream was the one thing I thought about, and the dream was now gone. Now, what comes in, the dream goes away, and the laundry list of and details and tasks come up. Gotta do this, gotta do this, gotta do this, gotta do this. That's when you become the master of your dream. So a lot of people out there dreaming.
When you spend your life looking for scapegoats, you take away your own responsibility. You remove your own power. You steal your own strength. Nobody who has chosen the easy path of hate has gotten to the end of that road and said, oh, what a life. No, they die as miserably as they lived. No matter how far you've gone, I want you to know that you still have the chance to choose a life of strength.
Every day, stand guard at the door of your mind. How important. Stand guard at the door of your mind.
It is easy to be motivated to succeed in the beginning of an endeavor and when you are close to the end. The most difficult part, and the part where people quit, is when they are in the thick of it, and it is unclear whether they have the strength and stamina to make it the rest of the way. Inner monologue, rationalizing why it is okay to quit or to not push myself to the goal that I have written down on paper. The hardest part of working toward a goal is when we are either making slow progress or negative progress, and having the patience and confidence to know that the improvements we make over the long periods as opposed to the short periods are what matter. Milestones are what remind us that we are making progress, even if it isn't apparent every day.
A quote that has helped me immeasurably is: a boy and a horse are in the woods, and the boy says to the horse, I can't see a way through. And the horse says, can you see your next step? And the boy says, yeah. And the horse says, then just take that. All of the time we look at the goal, we look at the future, we look at the end game, we look at how long a journey it is, and we feel overwhelmed. With each step you will get closer to that. All I need to focus on right now is my next step.
You know the war that you have to really fight is the war against yourself. You have to fight the war against yourself. Now, it's not easy to look in the mirror and to change your own life. It's hard as hell. You have to take responsibility. You have to learn new things. You have to feel uncomfortable. Good, because discomfort is how we grow. That's how we become strong. If you run away from discomfort and resistance your whole life, you will always be weak.
Pretend there's a documentary crew filming your success story and they're following you around right now. What would you do? What would you do if you knew that there was a crew following you around with cameras documenting your future incredible success, and they want to catch you in the act of it all? You would do all the right things you would have to do. Think about that, organize it.
So one of the things, in order to make this your decade, in order to reach your goals, you've got to find some reasons that make you strong, some reasons that will make you hang in there when times get rough, because they're going to get rough. It's going to be very challenging. Whenever you decide that you want to grow, whenever you decide that you want to go to another level, all hell will break loose. Everything that will happen, rather that can happen, will happen, and at the worst possible moment. They call it Murphy's Law. See, whenever you decide you want to go to another level, you've got to fasten your psychological, your mental, and your spiritual seatbelt, because it's going to be a while before you experience a comfortable altitude.
My biggest fear in life is that there is a final resting place in this world, and there's a final judgment, and you talk to something much bigger than you. I don't want to sit down and have a conversation with someone that says, you're in heaven, this is what you should have been on earth. I want God to be up there right now as we're speaking, writing stuff down, saying, my God, he exceeded even my expectations. That's how I live my life. I now know that there is no cap on the human mind. There's no cap. We cap it ourselves.
You can't wait for everything to be perfect to start living your life.
I know of no better life purpose than to perish in attempting the great and impossible. The fact that something seems impossible shouldn't be a reason to not pursuing. That's exactly what makes it worth pursuing. Where would the courage and greatness be if success was certain and there was no risk?
What's the secret to happiness? I always say one word: progress. Progress equals happiness. If you've ever achieved a goal and then went, is this all there is? You know it's not getting it. Well, even if you achieved a goal and you were thrilled, how long were you happy for? A year? 9 months? 6 months? 3 weeks? Because we're not made to just sit here and be satisfied. Everything in the universe grows or dies. Everything in the universe either contributes or is eliminated. So when you're making progress, you feel alive.
The fruit of everything good in life begins with a challenge. Everything is uphill that's worthwhile. And for many of you, this is your chance. This is your shot. This is your moment. This is your time. This is your opportunity. This is your place for you to really begin to live an intentional life.
Ask yourself this question: is this action going to make me stronger or weaker? Will this action move me toward the strategic long-term goals I am trying to achieve in my life? And do not lie to yourself.
Life. Embrace the journey and the process of life. Wisdom comes from experience, and experience takes time. The more experience you have, the more you learn from that experience, the wiser you can get.
In life, people emulate the end result, not the process. The end result is what they see and they emulate that. Are you willing to put in that sort of commitment? Are you willing to practice the whole life? Yeah, sure you want to be on a jet and all that, but do you want to put in that work? That's what it takes for something great, that amount of time, that level of commitment.
The rarer you are, the rarer the people are who share your perspective. In this way, the greater your success, the fewer people you can share it with. Loneliness is a kind of tax you have to pay to atone for a certain complexity of mind.
Have to grow as a person. You have to constantly challenge yourself to be a better person and a better person. You got to keep becoming a better person. You have to keep visiting your demons. You have to keep challenging yourself. You have to keep growing as a human being. And that's the hardest thing in the world because nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to face their own shit.
And if you're not constantly performing without purpose, you're not going to be ready when the time comes. It's this magical thing, purpose, that we're all looking for. But what's funny about it all is that we need these things to perform. But we don't take a second to realize the purpose is always there. The purpose never leaves us because the very purpose is you.
The human brain cannot comprehend the negative. It is incapable. And so what happens is we very often reinforce things when we put things in the negative, right? I can't get a part, or I can't do this, versus I'm going to keep doing this. It's such a huge thing to convert things into the affirmative. It's the same thing for you. If you focus on the obstacles, all you will see is obstacles. It's your choice how you choose to perceive your own career. It's literally perspective.
Life is hard for two reasons. It's hard because you're living in your comfort zone. It's also hard because you're trying to live outside of your comfort zone.
So if you wake up in the morning and you don't want to do something, you don't care enough about yourself. And that's what you need to really research is, man, why am I not doing this for myself? Because that is the number one purpose in life, is to better oneself. So that's the only purpose I can need.
The moment you find what you love, you'll understand there's a difference between a skill and a calling. You've been called to do something great. It's about answering that call and discovering that there's something unique about you from the time you were born. God embedded inside of your will a desire to fulfill your purpose. But how do you find your purpose? It's by dialing in, focusing on the things that you love to do. That's how you answer the call to your purpose.
Are you controlling the things that you are capable of controlling? Okay, because if you were to control the things that you can actually control, you would have far less chaos in your life.
Because I know there's so many people that have the ability and just refuse to get off that couch. Refuse to study a few more hours, refuse to go deeper, to go further. And that's where I gain the advantage. It's so easy to be great nowadays, my friend, because most people are weak. Most people don't want to go that extra mile. Most people don't want to find that extra because it sucks.
If you find yourself in an anxious time, if you find yourself frustrated and angry and mad because you feel like you're continuously spinning your wheels and not getting anywhere, you are probably not controlling what it is that you control. You're not understanding that we actually control our momentum, and you're frustrated because other people have it and you don't. The reason you don't is because you're not executing past the point to where things that are uncomfortable become a little more comfortable.
It's not about your resume. It's about resuming your calling. A resume is just going over a study of where you've been, but that's already in your past. You're not focused on your past. You have to focus on your future. Who do you want to be, and who are you when no one else is watching? That matters more than anything else. Hit resume. Take your life off of pause. Stop doing things just because it was easy. Don't do it just because someone else told you to. Trust that God has called you to do something, answer that call, then chase down everything that goes along with it, and believe that there is a reason why you're the one who got the number to God in the first place.
A pine tree grows and matures very fast. An oak tree grows and matures very, very slow. But which one lasts longer? And which one is stronger? Which one shelters more critters and more birds? Which one, when it's done and over and it's cut down, which one was more valuable for the lumber? People don't go out and say, I'm gonna spend extra money for some pine furniture. They want oak furniture.
If you fake bravery when you're terrified, that is bravery. And I kind of feel like motivation is the same thing. If you do the thing when you're feeling unmotivated, that is motivation.
So don't be afraid to reinvent yourself, and don't be afraid to be different, man. You ain't got to fit in the crowd. Why are you following everybody when you were clearly meant to lead?
Stay focused. Don't listen to nobody. What's on your mind, just do it. Because what's destined for you, you gonna get it.
The greatest gift that you can give yourself is to find something that you're naturally adept at and figure out a way to make a living at it. Because if you do that, every day will be a play day. If you love what you do, why do you want to stop doing it?
It says character is not a product of circumstances. It's the thing that survives it.
Most people are so distracted, they're so busy being busy, they're so exhausted. It's very easy because there are so few people doing the things required of world class. There's very little competition at world class.
That hunger to be more, to do more, to give more, that hunger that never ends. If you can, I think everybody has that hunger, but for some people, it's been asleep for a long time because they're afraid. They're afraid that I'm gonna get hungry, I'm gonna try, I'm gonna fail. And so it's human nature to protect yourself from the fear by just lowering your expectations. You get what you tolerate in yourself, you get what you tolerate in your life, and sooner or later, we sometimes hit a point where we say, not another day, not another hour, this is done. I'm not walking this way, I'm not talking this way, I'm not living this way, I'm gonna change it. And when people do that, that's the beginning of a breakthrough.
Every next level of my life demands a new version of me. Oftentimes we got goals, dreams, and aspirations and want to acquire and do certain things, but you still the old version of you. You haven't grown. In no sense of the word, you haven't experienced enough. That's the great thing about experiences. People are so afraid of experiences, but the great thing about experiences, you learn who you are, what you possess, what you will do. You learn from different situations, different scenarios. When you fail, you learn. When it doesn't go the way you want it to, when it goes the way, you learn. right? How do you grow? You learn. How is character formulated and sustained? You learn this, right? And so when it says, let the hard things in life break you and affect you, it's not saying let it break you to the point that you crumble. What it's saying is let it affect you.
And every single one of you out there have the superpowers necessary for greatness. But until you're backed into a corner, like an injured, hungry, thirsty dog, you don't really realize how much you have in you. That is something that no test can measure.
Go after your dreams. I never allowed anybody to tell me what I was capable of accomplishing. I never let anybody tell me that I can't do.
Pain is real. Pain is so real that it has measurements to it. Pain is unavoidable and that it will come. But pain is also a place of alteration of your life. You see, you're cut from a different cloth. And because of that, there will be times where you'll be pruned through the trials of life and pain comes. Pain can come by way of divorce. Pain can come by way of bankruptcy. Pain can come by injury. Pain can come emotion. But don't run from pain, and you can learn from it. It is there so that you are reminded to go a different direction. This way is not the way. Embrace it. If you've been hurt before, if you've been broken before, if you've been betrayed before, it hurts. Yes, it's painful, but that pain is a lesson teacher.
The other side of temporary pain, you meet your other self. If you can survive the temporary, you'll meet another version of you. What actually keeps you alive does not make you successful. And so our proclivity is to avoid pain and discomfort. And when we're going through it, we try to get through it in such a way that it doesn't cause us much pain. If you can survive the temporary, you meet another version of yourself.
A lot of people, they wish, and they're not willing to work. And the great thing about life has a funny way of testing all of us and seeing how bad we really want what it is that we say we want. Because the thing I know about people can talk the talk, and people do it very well. And life is going to say to you, you said you wanted it, now let's see how bad you really want it.
And I said, most people underestimate their abilities and their capacity, and then they overestimate other people's abilities and capacity. It's almost like you'll put yourself in a position to think that greatness is somehow reserved for special people, and that you don't belong in that category of special, almost like you don't have what it takes.
What the great ones understand is you're always going to be guaranteed success. You're always going to be guaranteed fulfillment when you're doing it for the process and not the product. If you're doing it for the product, then it's a hit or miss. But when you're doing it for the process, when you're doing it because it's in your heart, when you're doing it because you're doing it for compassion and passion, and you're doing it for somebody bigger than you, come on, man. You're going to be successful. There's no way you can fail. That's the promise that was made for you to be born.
You want a goal that you can never attain, right? So you can always move closer to the goal that recedes as you move towards it. You think, well, that's frustrating. It's like Sisyphus pushing the rock uphill. But it's not, because as you pursue that goal, you put yourself together and your life does get better and richer and more abundant. That's why the highest levels of virtue and goal are in some sense transcendent. You want them to be above everything you're doing so you can continually move towards something that's more sublime and better. That's what you are. You're here to live, not to sleep.
You have everything that you need to achieve greatness, and you've got a duty and a responsibility to the world to demonstrate greatness, the highest version of yourself, the 2.0 version of yourself, the most self-actualized version of yourself. You must become the man that you love, that you respect, that you admire. That is your duty. That is my duty. You've got the next 6 months ahead of you. You can either be a loser and say you will wait for the new year to come to reset your expectations and a resolution, or you could start today and reprogram yourself for greatness.
Why do some people end up courageous when so many don't? It's easier not to be. You know, it's easier to cut corners and not bear your responsibility, not take the opportunities that manifest themselves to you, not pay for your sins in the moment. It's easier. And so there's 1,000 or 1,000,000 ways that you can be dishonest.
If I'm not great at it, it must not be my thing. Did you know that only 1% of people are naturally, extraordinarily gifted at something? Think genius, think savant. Do you know what that means for us, the other 99+% of people? If we're going to do anything great in this life, it is going to require discipline. That's the truth. If you are going to accomplish anything extraordinary, it is going to require you pushing through the discomfort and embracing the grind.
Success is a strange thing. Presumably we want success because we think a more successful life will bring us more happiness, meaning, and fulfillment. Here's the problem. We sacrifice the thing we want, happiness, for the thing which is supposed to get it, success. Failure can make you miserable, but I'm not sure that success will make you happy.
Through that struggle, I will now have a better day, and I better can do it again tomorrow, or do something else, because if I just think, well, tomorrow I'm just gonna coast and eat Twinkies and watch TV. Oh, hello, sadness, my old friend. Hello, depression. Because when you're not doing anything, you feel like shit. And that's just a part of being a human being.
Just be calm when things are going well. Be calm. Don't think you're on top of the world. In the sense, you always got to be wary, because I've seen it. I've seen people come. I've seen people go. I've seen them come. I've seen them go. You got to be chill. Just take what's good in your life and move forward cautiously and carefully. And thank God that you have that. It's very, very important not to overextend yourself when you think everybody's dispensable.
You might be tempted to think that laziness is the lack of a desire or the lack of drive. It is not that. Laziness is an intense drive. It's an intense desire. The reason that you hoped that the roads would freeze last night is not because you don't have a desire. It's because you had a desire to what? Stay in your PJs all day, sit by a fire, and binge on Netflix. You have a desire to be comfortable. Laziness is driven by a deep desire for comfort. It's that I don't want to do anything that I don't want to do.
And we can pretend that we're something other than what we really are. Human reward systems are carved deeply into your DNA. And if you don't respect that, if you don't respect the mechanism of happiness and fulfillment and what you really need to do in order to feel satisfied in life, camaraderie, love, family, friendship, struggle, testing yourself, learning, all those things are imperative. They're all a giant part of being a person.
Why can't I just do whatever the hell I want, whenever the hell I want to do it with whoever I want to do it with? And the answer is because everything goes to hell if you do that, including you. And you say, well, I don't believe in hell. And I say, well, keep acting the way you are and you will. If you're motivated by the whim of the moment and you place that above all else, that is now your God.
Here's what you should know about winning before you chase it. Winning's not loyal to you. It doesn't care about you. Winning doesn't care how sore you are. Winning doesn't care how much sleep you get. Winning doesn't care how hard you work at times. Winning requires all of you and then more, and it promises you nothing. It's a mastermind at creating fear and doubt in your mind. It causes setback after setback. So the question is about winning. Are you willing to sprint when the distance is unknown?
You won't need that rest. Chances are you will realize that the desire to rest was just weakness. It was the desire to take the path of least resistance, the downhill path, the downward path.
You aren't getting any breaks in life. You make them for yourself. We are all being tested in life. While my tests are different than yours, you will be tested. And how you face that test and how you overcome that test determines the rest of your life. The one mentality that you must have in life is that regardless of what's in front of you,
you still must grind.
Is with your life, what are you giving up? Not by your words, not by what you say, not by the perception of you, not by what you type, not even necessarily by how you're living, but the truth about you.
If you want to know something about yourself, sit on your bed one night and say, what's one thing I'm doing wrong, that I know I'm doing wrong, that I could fix, that I would fix? You'll get an answer. And it won't be one you want, but it'll be the necessary one.
I'll never be in the Olympics. I'll never be a professional athlete, but still I grind. I fail at most things I do, but still I grind. I don't want to do half that I do, but still I grind. And that one day, you see me down a dark alley, running at 1 o'clock in the morning, know one thing. I was grinding.
As a child, my parents always told me you could be whatever you want to be. You could do whatever you want to do. And it was something I heard my parents saying it, but I didn't totally believe it. Yet I went out in the world and I carried myself and I held my head high and I stood there and I looked people in their eyes and I talked to people as if I was deserving of everything that this planet has to offer. He who says he can and he who says he can't are both usually right.
So you see all these people that have great things in life that you look up to? It's because they were sacrificed and disciplined long before you ever knew them.
See, the thing about life, we're gonna die, right? Eventually we're gonna die. But our legacy can live on. The impact can be non-perishable, forever. But it's gotta be built right. Or we gotta take advantage of the time we have right now.
There's a little known fact. The fact is that you're more amazing than you've ever imagined. You're more qualified, more gifted, more useful, more meaningful than anyone has ever defined or told you you could be. There are times where you've tried to talk yourself into believing your value by looking in the mirror and you haven't gotten the right reflection because you haven't said it with the right inflection. You got to begin to believe this thing in your core.
You know, whether you're trying to grow into something or you're trying to accomplish something, the adversity, the opposition, the challenge, and the uncertainty, that's the rites of passage to accomplish or become the person that you're striving to become.
This is what I want to tell you. You might not be in control of what today brings you, but you are in control of what you bring to today. You are in control of what you bring to the day. So the question I want to ask everybody is what you bring into today.
You got to believe it until others believe it. You got to sell this thing to yourself until you're so sold on it that no one can talk you out of that thing that you believe that you are born to do. The greatness that is within you, the greatness that is around you, the greatness that you will cause.
If you want it bad enough, you find a way. If you don't want it bad enough, you find an excuse.
Because I believe, like, when you're really trying to accomplish something or become something different, there's supposed to be challenges present. It's supposed to be adversity present.
How do you know when you found your calling? How do you know when you found the thing that you're supposed to do, the thing that you were put on this earth to do? The hard truth, you won't have any peace. You won't have that deep sleep. Or at best, you'll fall asleep dreaming of the life that you know you're supposed to have. Those thoughts that you fall asleep to every single night, all of that isn't on accident. That's placed there with an intention, that's placed there with a purpose. And that's supposed to give you a glimpse at the life that you're supposed to live.
Imagine that you could be exactly where you wanted to be in 5 years. Like you've got these stellar opportunities in front of you. So then you got to allow yourself to imagine like you're a kid who's pretending or daydreaming and thinking, okay, man, I can be wherever I want 5 years. Okay, how could I bring all of those together in the optimal way? What would that look like? You should ask and you'll receive. You should knock and the door will open.
You're more than a ripple. You're the one that will cause waves in life, but you gotta keep going. There's a thing called flow. You have to get into it, and the only way to get into it is to get through the things that try to interrupt your flow. Your development as a person, your development as a speaker, as an author, as a whatever it is you were born to do, you gotta find out that one thing and invest yourself in it, so much so that you gotta hold stop when everyone tells you that it has no value.
Being true to it, what's more important? Who we become or what we acquire? And most people do it because of what they can acquire. But what if you looked at it and said, what is this going to turn me into? Right? What is the process of chasing this going to turn me into it?
You matter, and you always have mattered. Your skill set is being developed under pressure, under denials, under rejection, under the people that have told you no. Those no's are things that you need. It needs you to fortify and believe in yourself until you can get to the point where it doesn't matter what anyone else says. You believe it with all your soul that I matter, that I was born to do something, and the greatness within me is going to touch other lives. You're not here just for you. The gift that you have is to be presented to God at the end of your life, and when you present it to Him, He'll ask you, how many other people did you bless? How many other people did you give it to?
But what do you need to bring to today is my question to you. We can't control what today brings us. We can't control what people try to give us. We can't control the struggles that might find us. But we can control what we bring to the day. We can't control what we bring to our life. We can't control what we bring to others. Right? How is it serving to focus on what's going wrong when you can actually create something that's right in your life right now?
See, that's the curse of being the visionary. You fall asleep to what could be, almost to the point of when you can feel it, to where you can almost hold it in your hands. But when you wake up to what is. And what are you supposed to do about that? What are you supposed to do about falling asleep to everything that could be, the yearning for a life that almost is but isn't? What you do about it is you wake up and take one step in the direction of that life you're supposed to live. You take one step by using the gifts, the talents that you were given from before you were even born, the gifts that were placed in you by God. You're supposed to use them in at least one small way.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you because I know how hard it is to take care of ourselves.
Listen to me, man. You have a great life in front of you, but your great life is in front of you. It's not behind you. What you did back there was learn the lessons to get you to where you are at this particular moment right here. But quit tripping during the process. Pull yourself together and quit tripping because you in the process.
I want you to think about something real quick. Tell me one thing in your life that is great that came as a result of being comfortable. Because everywhere I look and everywhere I see in today's society, everybody's doing everything they can to be more comfortable.
And we make so many mistakes. We're the product of our mistakes. And oftentimes the lesson is sitting there right in front of our face. It's there to be learned, but we miss it, or we don't pay attention to it, or we think we know better until it punches us in the face. And the most important thing to learn is that we have so much to learn.
Every single day you put them into practice. And over time, you'll find that they become refined. You put them through the fire, back into the water, hammered out, and they become stronger and stronger and stronger.
Because the one thing you don't want is regret. Not with the dash that we have. Our lives are way too short to live it just for us. Touch others' lives with your gifts, your abilities, your talents, your art, whatever it is that you were gifted by God from the foundations of the earth to do. Turn the earth around and let them see that God made you specific and this time so that your gift can give others the right time.
And I understand what it's like to have those visions and have every single person around you think that you're full of shit. This part of the journey, the hardest part, because you have this idea, you have this dream, you have this vision that nobody else can see. So if this is you and you're struggling and you're fighting and you're in the fight, understand that facing this issue of non-believers, of critiques and criticisms and negativity is part of the process.
You may be wondering what happened to the support that was once around you. What happened to the scaffolds of people who said they will be your security? You can lean on us. I've got your six. I've got your back. Well, the reason why they've been upset with you and the reason why they can't understand why you're changing is because they don't want to lose what they love. They don't want to lose the version of you that was within reach of them. The version of you that was visible and they understood where you were going and what you were doing. But what they don't understand is that you're evolving.
It's like when Kobe said, I was chasing perfection and excellence, even though I knew I would probably never catch it. But just the fact that I was willing to chase it, I would defeat most of my opponents because most of my opponents would never chase something that didn't have any guarantees attached to it.
Until finally the opportunity arises where it says, now is the time for you to be born again in your gift. And when you seize that moment, you'll grab it with two hands. And you'll finally realize that you now have peace. In that moment of having peace, that's when you know you found your calling. You may not have everything that you're supposed to have through that gift, but I promise that you will have peace. Seek out your peace.
You get one shot at this gig right here. Life.
Keep going. Keep chasing your dreams. The support you need is in the mirror. And every morning you've got to remind yourself, it's me and you, God, against the world. And if the world comes up against you, God's undefeated. Therefore, you cannot lose. Stay true to your goals. Stay true to your dreams.
When adversity strikes, for some reason, people think they rise to the occasion. You don't rise to the occasion, you revert back to your training. Meaning your core, your essence, who you are as a person. When adversity and opposition strike, you can't turn into the beast. You already got to be the beast.
There are no failures. There's only quitting. Every single hardship, every single obstacle is going to serve you if you allow yourself to let it serve you. So what these people think, put it all up here on your shoulder, and when you don't feel like it, and when you're frustrated, and when you want to quit, take the proper amount out, and the proper amount is the amount that gets you off your ass and gets you executing. Because if you are executing day in and day out, no matter what, there is not a single fucking thing that can stop you.
If you give up on your dreams, what do you have left?
Whenever I get to a low point where I think, why do I even bother? I just remind myself, this is where most people stop. Hard feels shitty. This is what hard feels like. And this is why most people can't do it, but you can. This is what hard feels like.
Try not to resist the changes that come your way. Instead, let life live through you. And do not worry that your life is turning upside down and not going the way you want it to. How do you not know that the side that you are used to is better than the one that's to come?
Today is not all that you have. You got to stop thinking about just today. It's about thinking about your future. It's about turning it into a vision. It's not about dreaming, because dreams are very weak. Dreams are limited by your imagination and your past experiences. But vision is something that has to be inspired. Vision is about dreaming and thinking of things you've never done and going places you've never gone, becoming something you've never been, and then going down the road of chasing it into existence. You've got to get over talking about now, in the present. You got to start thinking about, what do you want to leave behind?
Remember, it's not what you have, but what you do with what you have that separates winners from losers. It's not what happens to you, but how you respond to what happens to you that counts. In the final analysis, your response to the adversity of life is the real measure of who you are and what you're made of. Circumstances do not make the man or woman, they merely reveal him to himself. Everyone eventually goes through periods of great difficulty, their own private hells, their dark nights of the soul. But it is by facing whatever life gives us with courage and determination that we grow more surely toward the stars.
I tell all of you that are out there chasing a dream to keep chasing it. I know right now you might feel alone. You might feel like it's just you out there doing it. Everyone thinks you're crazy. People are talking bad about you. Family's worried about you. Bless their heart. Let them worry about you. Let me tell you something. I want you to hear me. Yes, you. You were born to do something great with your life. You were. You're not average and ordinary. There's this part of your heart that wants to be somebody so bad, that wants to make a difference for other people, that wants to win, that wants to accomplish something great. Everyone around you might think you're crazy. I'm here to tell you you're not crazy, because I admire you out there paying the price, putting the hours in.
Life is too short to keep pushing your dreams aside. Those two simple words can hold so much power over you. Not yet implies that your dreams are just beyond your reach, that you're not ready, and that the time isn't right. But let me tell you something. The time will never be perfect, and you will never feel completely ready. The truth is, life doesn't wait for you to catch up. It moves forward, with or without you.
Hardest part about change is not making the same choices you did the day before. And the moment you decide to make a different choice, you're going to feel uncomfortable because you're stepping from the known into the unknown.
You have to be willing to suffer when everybody else gives up. You have to be able to endure when everybody else packs it in. And this is what creates greatness. And without that vision of what you're trying to be, without that conscious decision that I am going to do this no matter what the happens, you can never achieve it because you don't have the motivation to stick through the hard times when everybody else quits.
Are you the type of person that will plant trees so that they would grow and your grandchildren can sit in that shade? If you're thinking about legacy, if you're thinking about the impact that you can have in years to come and generations to come, then you start planning. Move your calendar from today to a month from now. What do you want to be doing? A year from now, what should my life look like? What should my home look like? What should my family say about me? Write your obituary out now about the things you want to do, things you want to be remembered for. It's not about you getting up and going to work. It's about the work you put into people.
Not willing to sacrifice for your goals, that's okay. You just need to know that your goals will become the sacrifice. You have to give up what you want now for what you want most. And I think if you're not willing to do that, just cool. Just know you'll never get to where you really want to be.
Pain that you go through is temporary, but the greatness on the other side is forever. It's the thing that we always got to constantly remember. And if we could just get past that pain threshold, training, whatever it is, and on the other side of that is the good, it's the greatness. So get past that threshold and get to your greatness.
But what if life wasn't about happiness? What if life is about experiencing every aspect and every emotion that life has? Wouldn't you want to experience the full set and range of emotions that life has to offer you? The sadness, the heartbreaks, the joy, right? You can't have happiness without sorrow. You can't have pleasure without pain. And to neglect one thing is to neglect life.
Get sick and tired of being sick and tired. Get over the idea that this is it, that there isn't anything more. There's always more in the tank. How do you tap into that reserve? You empty you. You challenge yourself. You find a fear that you have of heights and you conquer that thing.
What you do is you should become passionate about your gift. Quit tripping yourself out. You all have one. God gave all of you a gift at birth. When he created you, he put it inside him. You don't got to go discover it nowhere. He already gave it to you. It's the thing you do the absolute best with the least amount of effort. That's your God-given gift. You just got to recognize what your gift is. That's all it is.
You messed up. Now what? What do you do now? Where do you go from here? Is there a tomorrow? Is there a tomorrow? Well, yes. So I'm gonna lay some things out for you. All right? If you've messed up, the very first step, the very first thing that you've got to do is you've got to stop. Whatever it is you did, don't do it no more.
Identify your God-given gift and go pursue that.
Then I'll tell you what changed my whole life when I finally discovered it's all risky. The minute you were born, it got risky. If you think trying is risky, wait till they hand you the bill for not trying. If you think investing is risky, wait till you get the tab for not investing. See, it's all risky. Getting married is risky. Having children is risky. Going into business is risky. Investing your money is risky. It's all risky. I'll tell you how risky life is. You're not going to get out alive.
People are telling you to set goals, and I get it. That's a great mindset to have. But I'm gonna tell you something, that's a dangerous mindset to have. Because a lot of us, we set our goals based upon our experiences, not off of our capabilities. And what I mean by that, a lot of times when we set goals, we limit ourselves. Goals are something that you reach. Well, let's be real. How many times have you reached the goal and then you got complacent? How many times have you reached the goal and then you fell off? Because you got comfortable, because in your mind says, I've arrived. And the truth is about life, the ones that really meet the greatest version of themselves, the ones that really live the greatest life, they never arrive. They understand life is not about arriving at a destination.
I found that nothing in life is worthwhile unless you take risks. Nothing. Nelson Mandela said, "There is no passion to be found playing small and settling for a life that's less than the one you're capable of living."
Person who has purpose in their life. They have something to go for, some meaning. One writer described it, for some people it becomes a magnificent obsession. But it has to be something that does something to us, something that pulls us, especially into the future. You know, there are many influences on us. One is the influence of the past. Some people are always pulled back by the past. Some people are always pulled aside by the distractions. But here's what's powerful. If you have a list of high purpose in your life, it pulls you toward the future. And the more powerful the purpose is, the stronger it pulls.
See, we want to grow, but we want to stay liked by everybody. I was willing to be my own rescue at the risk of your approval. But most of us aren't like that, but we want to be liked. Well, I woke up and I like myself today, so your like is extra. My job is to like me first. I was willing to say every day, Lisa, you like you? Lisa, are you proud of you? Lisa, are you playing full out? Every day before I checked in with anybody else.
Everything that's happening to you is God is processing. Every difficult moment you're having, He's just processing it. Everything you're going through is preparing you for what you ask God for. And if you need to be tough, when you get to where you're going, then He gonna toughen you. He gonna let you have some trials come your way that's gonna have to produce that in you.
It's a big difference between a hard worker and somebody that works hard. Right? Most cats are somebody that works hard.
If the situation and the circumstance is what they want it to be, they're going to come out and they're going to act accordingly and they're going to give you everything they got. But a hard worker, regardless of situation, regardless of circumstance, regardless of what happened, I'm going to show up and I'm going to give everything I got to it because I'm working for something that's totally different. Right? The question becomes this: can you be committed to the process of what you're doing without being emotionally attached to the results of what you're hearing? In other words, if you don't get what you thought you was going to get, will you still be the same individual?
It's not that life is better than you think. Life is as harsh as you think. It might even be worse, but you are way tougher than you think if you turn around and confront it.
Everybody's got a dream. Everybody's got a goal. What's the plan? But when you're trying to do something that you're truly passionate about, there is no plan B.
When it doesn't make sense, logical sense to go on, that's when you got to use your emotion. That's when you got to use that anger, that frustration, that fear to push yourself further, to push yourself to say, I don't stop. You got to override that emotion with the concrete logic and willpower. You fight the weak emotions with the power of logic, and you fight the weakness of logic with the power of emotions.
You can't be comfortable with yourself if you don't know who yourself is. And you can't know who yourself is if you don't stop looking at how everybody around you is and start looking at what makes you comfortable and what makes you uniquely you. There's roughly close to, I guess, about 8 billion people on this planet, but there's only one you.
That you're in the right place, doing the right thing at the right time. And everyone wants that all the time. Like, images of paradise are representations of that state of being. So it's there for you, but there are preconditions that you strive to aim at the best. And that has to be your fundamental ethos. And it's a decision that, despite all of the calamities of being, that your primary ethical obligation is to work for the betterment of yourself and others.
The fact is, death is inescapable. There is no way out. And death, in that, death is part of life. And like the contrast between the darkness and the light, without death, then there is no life. And the people that I've lost, they taught me that. They taught me how precious life is, how blessed we are to have every day to learn and to grow and to laugh and to live.
You've got to dream. Don't lose your dreams. For yourself, for your future, for your family, the dreams of love and enterprise and travel and doing things, becoming something unique on your journey here. Don't lose your dreams. Do some dreaming.
You'll not find confidence in yourself if you don't know who yourself is. You won't find confidence in yourself if you're so busy trying to figure out what everybody around you thinks you ought to be and then match that, because you're not going to make people around you happy. You're not going to, okay? So you need to be you.
To live every day with purpose and with passion, to wake up in the morning and be thankful
thankful for that morning and thankful for the opportunity to go out into the world and live. To live for them, for those that don't have the opportunity, for those that were stolen away by death's cruel hand.
So what is possible and what is not possible is not your business. That is nature's business. Nature will decide that. You just see what is it that you really want and strive for that. And if your thought is created in a powerful way, without any negativity, without any negative thoughts bringing down the intensity of the thought process, the first and foremost thing is you must be clear what is it that you really want. If you do not know what you want, the question of creating it doesn't arise. If you look at what you really want, what every human being wants is, he wants to live joyfully, he wants to live peacefully. In terms of its relationships, he wants it to be loving and affectionate. Or in other words, all that any human being is seeking for is pleasantness within himself, pleasantness around him.
But let's not dwell. Instead, let's laugh and let's love and let's embrace and cherish everything that life is and every opportunity it gives us.
It's your unlimited desires that are clouding your peace, your happiness. Every desire you have is an axis where you will suffer. So just don't focus on more than one desire at a time. The universe is rigged in such a way that if you just want one thing and you focus on that, you'll get it. But everything else, you gotta let go.
That life is meaningless. It was not a flippant assertion. I think it's absurd, the idea of seeking meaning in the set of circumstances that happens to exist after 13.8 billion years worth of unguided events. Leave it to humans to think the universe has a purpose for them. However, I am no nihilist. I'm not even a cynic. I am actually rather romantic. And here's my idea of romance. Life will sometimes seem long and tough, and God, it's tiring. And you will sometimes be happy and sometimes sad, and then you'll be old, and then you'll be dead. There is only one sensible thing to do with this empty existence, and that is fill it. Fill it. And in my opinion, until I change it, life is best filled by learning as much as you can about as much as you can, taking pride in whatever you're doing, having compassion, sharing ideas, running, being enthusiastic. And then there's love and travel and wine and art and kids and giving and mountain climbing, but you know all that stuff already. It's an incredibly exciting thing, this one meaningless life of yours.